Hi, Release Fire here. So I'm going to talk you through my method to travel faster in Lego Fortnite. The idea is that you'll be able to do it with minimal resources invested. So that's the goal that I've kind of set myself, that you don't need some kind of huge rig. It's relatively easy. Now you will need the dynamic foundation, which you'll need flex wood to be able to craft. If you haven't got flex wood, you can check out the video linked above. But in general, you just need to use the blasters to create a bomb barrel. And with the bomb barrel, you can blow up cactus in the desert and that will give you flex wood. And then once you've got the flex wood, you can create yourself a dynamic foundation. And this is what you're going to use to travel between your 2 points. But you want to line it up, and you want to line it up perfectly. And you can't do that normally. Instead, there's a way to do it by specifically finding yourself a crate. If you head out and look for a house, you should be able to find one of these crates inside, and the crates, you can push them around. Now, when you're taking it back to your village, don't take it the entire way because sometimes they can glitch out. Instead, do what I'm doing, where you carry it for a little bit and then you put it down and then you carry it for a bit more. It's slightly time consuming, but it doesn't take more than a few minutes to be able to get it back to your base if you find a house relatively close. And then when you get back, what you want to do is put it next to your dynamic foundation and then angle things up with the map to see where you need to turn your dynamic foundation to face where you're going, because essentially traveling faster in Lego Fortnite has to be in a straight line. There's no way to turn corners. I can build a plane that can turn, but the resource requirement is much higher. You have to change your thrusters more regularly, whereas this one that I'm doing at the moment, you only have to put on a new thruster each time you get to your destination. So you can see I'm using the crate to push my dynamic foundation until it's angled in the direction I want to go to, which will be a direct line from my current base, my current village, to my village in the desert. Once you've done that, use a wood foundation to be able to build a little section in the middle. And then you're going to use the balloons to give it some lift. Now, if you haven't got the loom and the spinning wheel, you will need those. So make sure you build those to be able to do that. And then for torches, it's just a case of wood and vines. And then you go to the spinning wheel to create your cord using vines and silk thread, using spider webs. And you'll need to craft enough then to be able to make the fabrics with the loom, which you can see here. So here it takes 5 of each of the threads to be able to make the fabric that you need. Once you've done that, you can then head on back to your dynamic foundation and start to build everything else that you need. So you start with the switch, which just requires wood and one of the blasters. You get the blasters from the desert, and I'll show you that process towards the end of the video. And then you need a thruster, and that's just wooden rod, a blaster, and some torches. However, before you head off, I highly recommend that you craft the glider, which requires flexwood rod, wool fabric, and silk fabric. However, you will need to upgrade your bench to rare, so it's the third one along, the third upgrade, to be able to do that. And then you can craft all of the thread that you need at the spinning wheel. And then once you've got all of the thread, you head on over to the loom and you craft all of the fabric that you need. So you need that for the balloons as well as the glider. And then once you've got all of that, you can head on back. The thruster's in place, the switch is in place. Now all you need to do is put all of the balloons in. And then once you head on around, you can interact with the switch and start to jet on over to the second of the villages. Now, if you're wondering how much time saving this is, well, the time that it normally takes to walk this distance is 4 minutes, but from blasting off here, it takes just 1.5 minutes using this process, so it's way faster. And if you had way more resources, you can definitely make this a faster moving flying thing with some better thrusters on it. However, you will need to replace them when you turn around and come back the other way. The other limitation is that the more weight you put on your dynamic foundation, the more balloons you'll need to put on there to keep it in the air. So that is something to take into account. That's why I've kept this build as tight as possible with as few items required to craft to be able to make it across. So hopefully it's about as efficient as it gets. And then when you approach where you want to get to, you can just whip out your glider and jump on down. And you can see I've got stairs kind of stacked all around this mesa, which will allow me to get back up to it. But that is something to take into account. You will need a stairway back up to your flying machine, which you can see it takes a little bit of time to construct, but as soon as it's done, that's job done. And then, like I said earlier, you can fly on down to your second village using your glider, which speeds things up. Here is where you get the blasters. Essentially, you're looking for the village to get attacked by a mob in the desert. And then when they defeat all of those, you'll get loads and loads of blasters as a result of it. And then you can head on back to your previous village and construct the stairway back up to the second location. However, you need to be careful about the construction to make sure you don't do it in front of your flying machine, because essentially when you start flying it, it will hit the stairs and that will change its direction a little bit, which is what I found. You can see I built it right in front of it so that when it flew back over this, it kind of nudged it just a little bit, so it was a little bit off course. So I had to do a number of corrections after this. But once you're ready to fly back, all you need to do is get rid of the original thruster and then put a new one on the other side, and then you're free to be able to jet back between the two locations, as long as you haven't messed up like I did and created a complete obstacle, which nudges me off track, which you'll see in a little second. But that is how to travel faster in Lego Fortnite without costing the earth in terms of the items you've got to craft. Like I said before, if the video helps you out, leave a comment, let me know how yours works out for you. You can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already with the link on the left hand side, and see more of my guide videos for Lego Fortnite with the links on the right hand side. And as ever, I'll catch you next time.